talks to Rich Global Market Tutor at Nasdaq. We've been coming live at the Digital Asset Summit in New York City. George, what do you think of like the video business founder of Blockworks? It's great to have you with us, Mike. Fantastic turnout.
Thank you very much,
Digital Asset Summit to explore about this because I have to say I'm pretty impressed with the content that's been coming out.
Thanks very much. So, as you know, Blockworks, we're an events and media company, and really our mission is to help bridge the gap in between some of the players who are in the existing financial system and this new kind of developing crypto community. So that's a lot of what you're seeing today. We're taking topics that are very familiar to like markets participants, so looking at things like custody, different structured products, all of that kind of stuff, and framing it within the context of this new technology.
All right, now what are some of the common trends that you're seeing in blockchain and digital assets?
So the big trend that everyone's really focused on, I guess two, is one is security tokens. So back in 2017, there was that crazy run up with ICOs. Those were largely unregulated. And even though there was maybe some good thoughts there, ultimately there was a lot of bad behavior. The kind of updated cousin to that is security token offerings. So offering these digital assets, but in a way that's compliant with the Howey test and existing securities law. The other kind of mega trend that's happening in this space is infrastructure. So you might have heard Vince Molinari of Templum talk earlier. We're not in early innings here, we're still constructing the stadium. So there's still some very basic things that need to get built from an infrastructure perspective, custody being a big one, before you can see more institutional participation.
Yeah, you know what, I think part of the challenges with the digital asset space is that a lot of participants expect it to be a plug-and-play model, just like with the, and putting it into an existing equity market structure. And that particular asset class has had hundreds of years of evolution, right? And it's just not going to happen overnight in terms of the technology, the infrastructure, the regulation, and so forth. That challenge still exists, but there are a number of fantastic opportunities on the horizon.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say, the number one thing that this space needs right now is just time. I think it was Bill Gates who said we overestimate what we can get done in 2 years, but underestimate what we can get done in 10. And some of the big ideas that are getting bandied around here are really big fundamental changes and innovations. And in addition to, you need to figure out things like regulatory scrutiny and custody. It's also some of the changes are a threat to existing business models. So it's just going to be a long time before we see meaningful changes.
Yeah, I mean, another trend I'm hearing as well is alternative forms of capital formation.
Yes.
And that's really where I think it's pretty bright in terms of digital assets.
Sure. I would just say the way the capital formation kind of happens now, whether you call it this or not, is it gets done a lot in backroom deals between people who control a large percentage of the world's wealth. There are 1.7 billion adults out there today who have zero access to the financial system. By making things more transparent and open to other participants, not just in the United States, but globally, you're allowing capital formation to happen at a more micro level, which allows greater participation and some would say a more fair structure.
I can't wait to see where we are.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Mike, for
Thank you very much,
us.
Jill.
And thanks for joining us throughout the day at Digital Asset Summit. I'm Jill Global Market Tutor.